Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. We're going to get into applying the kick that we were breaking down on the last one into a combo today, traditional combo, not a fighting combo. But first, let's get warmed up and ready to go and bow in to start. Ready? Attention, bow. All right, let's get warmed up. The last video we used our review skills for the basic skills to put together and work on combos. Well, this one we're going to be working on the current skills, current basic skills. So that means our high block, our spear hand, or you can do punch, and our round kick. We've done the lead leg round kick, just lift up and kick, or use our shuffle step to slide up, kick, or even the rear leg round kick that we were working the other day with the lift, twist, kick. So work those into what you're doing today. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about when I talk about our breakdown video for that round kick, go back and watch that one first, and you'll catch up on this one. We'll go for about a minute and then continue on with our the rest of our warm-up. So working high block, spear hand, or punch, and then working round kick, any of the varieties that you do. Just always reset back to your position using good footwork. Don't stop your combo out here and then turn around and saunter back. If the combo starts out here, use footwork to move back to your starting position. Okay? Keep the hands up the whole time. Ready? 1 minute and go. And stop. Okay, so as we mentioned in the last video, use those times of shadow boxing when you're warming up to feel how combos are working for you. Definitely work combos that you already know are good, get those solid, but also use that as an opportunity to experiment with combos and see what works, see what doesn't work as you develop new things. The things that don't work, when you understand why, you can start gaining an understanding of your own body mechanics that'll help elevate and catapult your progress way more than following a set of lessons or practicing a set of solid techniques is going to do, because now you're going to understand some fundamentals about yourself and the techniques and how those two work together. All right, let's continue our warm-ups. Circle our head around. Other way. And arms, big circles forward. And backwards. Cross them. Up and down. Twist your body. Circle your hips. And the other way. Good. Circle your, actually let's go down to the knees first. Circle the knees around. Other way. Good. All right. Now let's circle our leg around, outward and inward. Knees up, out, and in. One more. And switch. One more. And done. Good. All right, so let's get into putting that round kick into a combo. But we're going to get to the other techniques before we get to that round kick. So let's start off. Traditional combination of skills here. We're going to be working, starting off with that high block and our forward movement with front stance. So I'm going to start with my high block up, and now I'm just moving so that my leg steps forward, circle motion, and a high block. So with this combo, that hand is always going to be up above the head, angled motion with the same side, arm, and leg. So it'll always be my lead hand doing the block. That's important here in just a second because things are going to get a little tricky. So I'll do my high block, I'll move forward, and I'll do this same thing, moving backwards. Same motion with the feet, front stance as I step and block. Make sure you keep that consistent stance forward and backward. Don't start to shorten it up so that you're just standing and walk through. Get that good deep stance. All right. This is a lunge. If you're working your upper body technique while you're working lunges in your legs, then you can get a double whammy with that isometric movement in the isometric holds in the stances, as well as the deep lunging with the stance while you're working on practicing the technique. So high block is up, switching it as I step. Here we go. Stepping forward. 1, 2, 3. And we're running out of space, so we're going to step back. 1, 2, 3. Forward again. 1, 2, 3. Back. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now, take a look at where you started from and where you stopped. You should be at about the same spot. If you're not, it means that one set of steps, either forward or backward, isn't the same as the other one. We need to work on getting that more consistent. So, evaluate where you're at, watch your feet, and we can work on those improvements. So let's add the spear hand into this one, all right? As we saw in the warm-ups, that spear hand could just as easily be a punch. It could be any number of other linear strikes in, and it could just simply be setting up for a grip or something else like that. But in the case of this combo, we're just going to call it a spear hand strike, and we'll leave it up to you to look for the applications of that. But I'm going to work my high block and reverse spear hand, all right? So each time my lead hand is doing the block, my rear hand is doing the reverse technique, the spear hand here. Okay, the only thing about this that is reverse is just simply it's not coming from my lead side, and that's what defines it as a reverse technique. So reverse punch is just simply coming from my rear side instead of from my lead. Okay, that means that as I step forward though, that this hand has to come back and it has to block. And that means that my lead hand will come up in that prep posture to do the high block. So I'll step from my spear hand here. As I'm stepping forward, I'm raising the hand, bringing the spear hand to my stomach, raising up to high block. Fire the spear hand. Then as I step forward, the hand's coming up, block, spear hand. And it'll be the same thing going backwards, just the feet will be, feel like they're a little off from the hands this time. So I'll step back, hands coming up, block, still lead side now, strike. So I'm stepping back, block, and strike. So let's get ourselves set up to start this one in front stance, and we'll put our reverse spear hand out. So we've just done our high block spear hand, so it's that spear hand that's going to be coming next. Go ahead and get yourself set. Spear hand is out. Make sure your thumb isn't sticking up. It's nice and tucked down just like that. Ready to move forward on my count. 1, step, block, strike. 2, block, strike. 3, now backwards. 1, 2, 3. All right, forwards again. 1, 2, 3, and back. 1, 2, 3. Good. All right, now let's add the round kick in there. The round kick is going to go in the middle. So it's going to go between the block and the strike. Okay? So I'm moving in, closing off that distance with my attacker as I move forward, and intercepting an incoming grab or punch with that block. In practical application, it probably means that as I deflect that up, I'm going to grab. And that means I'm set up to pull them into whatever the next technique is. In this case, I'm going to do my block, and I'm going to leave my block up, my hands up. I'll get a little bit better balance out of that. And then we're going to work that breakdown from the other day. If you haven't seen that yet, go back and check that out. But I'm going to lift and twist, fire the kick, and then set right back down into this front stance position. So watch what that looks like with just that kick. Okay? So I'm in my front stance here, and as I lift up, I'm twisting ball of my foot here. Okay? So I'll lift up and twist here, fire the kick, and I set back down. Notice as I set back down, I'm stepping out, putting the foot down right where it was, getting my hips back into position for that front stance. Okay? So it goes high block, lift, twist, and kick. And as I step down then, I'm using that hip rotation back into position to give me the power into that rear strike. If I'm striking, I'm probably not going to use a spear hand, probably going to use a punch or palm strike of some sort. In this case, if I see a spear hand, I'm likely looking at some way that I'm penetrating in between a limb and a body, getting a grip, and then there'll be a finish to this in some way. I'm not looking at spear hand as I'm going to really strike a soft target, because those are going to be elusive unless I've got a lot of other control. But that's possible with my block. If I gripped, kicked them, and I'm pulling them down, I may have complete control to be able to thrust fairly vulnerable fingers into a soft target. But in a dynamic situation, you got to use some really fast judgment so you don't hurt yourself and miss and hit something hard like the skull with something relatively vulnerable like your fingers. But working the whole combo, block, kick, and strike. And if you need to break down that rotation like we did the other day, go ahead and break it down so you can get the kick and set it back down in place. If you can blend it, then do that as well. First time forward and backward, you're going to see me break it down. The second time, you'll see me blend it. Okay? So we've done our high block, we've done our kick, and we've done our spear hands. So the lead hand is getting ready 2 strike. Okay, so good strong front stance. Bigger, forward to backward. Even more forward, backward, not side to side. No, you're going side to side. There you go. Good. So our spear hand is there, ready to step. And 1 step. Spear hand does the block, lift up, twist, kick, set down, and spear hand. 2 step. Block, lift up and kick, spear hand. Stepping back down to front stance each time. 1 more. 3, step forward. Block, lift and twist, kick, and spear hand. Now backwards. And 1, step back. Block, kick, spear hand. 2, block, kick, spear hand. And 3, block, kick, spear hand. All right, now make sure you blend the motion on this one if you can. If not, keep on breaking it down. Ready? 1, block, kick, strike. 2, block, kick, strike. 3, block, kick, strike. Backwards. And 1, 2, 3. Good. All right, relax there. All right, so we're going to shift gears and use some of our intermediate technique. We're going to be combining that back fist and the hammer fist together with a block and that horse stance movement. And we'll talk about how that gets applied in just a little bit. All right, but we're not going to be building this up. So hit replay as many times as you need on this one, just in case you're pretty new to these concepts, and then you'll get the hang of it pretty quick. But we're going to go forward through this one, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get myself set, left foot lead in my horse stance here. Okay, so I'm in my horse stance, and I'm going to have my outside or my inside hammer fist already extended out. So I'll step forward with my horse stance. So I'm going to rotate on the balls of my feet. I'm going to slide straight ahead, and I'm getting set for my outside forearm block. And I twist my body into horse stance using that rotation into the block. Then right away, I block, I back fist, and then I'm going to come in and back out to the hammer fist. So it's a block, right over the top for a quick strike at the face, coming in under, and this is going to be a hammer fist. You'll see the application isn't exactly a strike when we're done with this, but for the sake of this, we'll just call it a hammer fist strike and get into application later. We're only going to have about space for 2 steps because horse stance is stepping its full length all the way forward. So I'll step, do my outside forearm block, back fist quickly, come back and under the arm for that hammer fist. All right, then I just reset with my hand out facing where I came from. Don't need to change my legs at all. I'll step through, block, strike, strike, step through, block, strike, strike. Okay, so let's do that all together. Put your left side facing the direction you're going, but we're going to be all the way sideways in our horse stance. Elin, why don't you take a half a square step forward? There we go. All right, so the hammer fist is out. We're getting ready to step through horse stance using that outside forearm block. Here we go. 1 step, block, back fist strike, hammer fist. 2 step, block, strike 1 under, strike 2. Now just extend out back the way you came from. And 1 step, block, strike, strike, 2, block, strike, strike. And extend out. Let's do a second time through. 1, block, strike, strike. 2, block, strike, strike. Extend out. 1, 2, Good. Relax. Okay, so now let's talk about applying that technique. When we get into this, you start to notice that there's similar kinds of motions all throughout karate kata. And we'll talk about these things as being blocks or strikes. But the reality is that a good number of these things are in fact deflections and takedowns, rather than being a straight up block or strike. So let's talk about that. Okay, so we're going to get set up here, and I'm going to kind of come a little bit of an angle here. So I'm going to have Caden step towards the side here, and then as I step in for this punch, he's going to step to the outside with his horse stance. He's going to do the outside forearm block. Now look where his leg is here. All right, a good deep step is coming right in behind that knee. He's going to do a back fist, quick stunning strike to the face. Most likely I would be reeling back. This hand's going to come back, and it doesn't take much. And even with the size and height disadvantage, Caden's already come in and has me off balance. I just don't know it yet. Okay, and of course Caden knows a few more sweeps and things. If he wanted to get mean, which he's not going to do today, he would just simply lift that foot up in a really quick sweep, and that would accelerate me extending downward towards the ground in a little bit more painful fashion. So again, I'm stepping in, and he is stepping in towards me as well. He's going to cut off that attack by getting inside of it. So I'm stepping in, he's blocking, he gets his leg into position, he strikes quick here as I retreat, but that's okay, because that's where he wants me to go. He wants me to pull my head back. He wants me to get my hands up here, because he's just simply coming in under for that takedown. Okay? And we see that kind of takedown a lot in karate. We call it a backhanded pressing block, or it's a hammer fist, or whatever. But when we get into that good analysis, a lot of those extensions, the hand position, the foot position, are a great position to do this takedown. And if you watch a lot of that Olympic level karate, the national level karate competition, takedowns are allowed, and they will slide in with this same type of attack, coming in under an attack, and catch them across the body with a foot behind the leg, and you'll definitely see them. Karate will be in the Olympics, that's right. So you'll see that a lot in karate competition. In fact, if you look at Ryota Machida, some of his UFC competitions, he used this exact same sweep on a few occasions to take his opponent to the ground in his short time at UFC. Okay, so let's give that a try. And if you've got a partner, you could definitely try this at home. But remember, you're training at home, so you're responsible for yourself. We can't supervise and take responsibility for what you're doing. So it's up to you to look around and make sure that you're going to be safe. We've got puzzle mats down on our floor here at home, which already provide a level of padding. And you just saw we pulled out a takedown mat so that we could practice this takedown safely here at our own house. And if you watch some of our jiu-jitsu videos, you know we've got even more mats to put down that we use when we're rolling, just because we want to be extra safe with that. So be responsible with this, but you can definitely work it with a partner if you've got all the precautions in place. So Caden's going to get set up to do the punch, and he again is going to be stepping at an angle, and Aylin's going to be here. So Aylin's going to be stepping with her right foot, blocking outside forearm block with that right hand. So she'll step in, outside forearm block, boom. And then she comes real quick with that back fist, and then she's got to come in under with the, come in under. It'll work over. All right. Now, what you saw there is Aylin stepped in, but she stepped in as she kept a fairly narrow, more of a fighting stance, rather than committing into that horse stance. So let's try that again. And this time I want you to step in really deep, really far in behind his leg. So you're almost going to be pushing the back of his knee with your knee using your horse stance. Okay? So Caden's going to step in with that punch. Aylin's going to step way far. So you got to get right in with him on that leg. Do you feel that now? All right. So back fist real quick. Ah, you got real close there. So then you can come in under and then you push. Okay? All right, so let's do that one more time. And I really want you to think about getting in, but not be out here. I want you to be way in so that you're pushing with your knee against him as you're doing that takedown. And then Caden, keep your hand up there or start pulling it back to your fighting position. So she's coming back. Now, twist yourself into the horse stance here with your legs into it. You're starting to turn away, you turn outside. I want you to turn your hips square into that horse stance. Okay? I want you to feel this. Okay? So if I'm in here and I turn this way, what happens to the pressure on the back of your leg? It goes away. Now, look at where my hips are turning. My hips are turning to one side. Now, I want you to feel that pressure if I square my hips back up side to side in my horse stance. And that's just my stance, okay? So you have that power in your legs against Caden, and that's what I want you to use. You want to give it another try? No? All right. Well, let's let Caden give that a few tries, and then we'll close out our video for today. I want you to watch. Oh, no. Caden will take me down. Again, he's taking down a bigger opponent, just like you were. All right? So I'm getting set. So I'm going to step in. I'm firing the punch. He's deflecting. Even if I keep the hand out like a dummy, I'm going to get taken down. All right? Well, one of the biggest accusations against karate and its practicality is nobody ever leaves their hands out. It's like, you're right. But we also practice all kinds of martial arts where we say, now put your hands in this position and this person's going to work this. That's the same as working a takedown. Put your hands out just like this and we work a takedown. It's the same as arm bar from mount. Stick your hands up like this. And they practice with that, what we call wooden dummy exercise, which lets us practice the mechanics of it before we are trying to work with those things live. So this time, as I extend in and come out, I'll go a little bit slower than I might normally react, but I'm still going to try to maintain my fighting protection here. Okay, so I'm coming in at Caden, I'm coming out, and as I come in, he's striking, and I'm lifting my arms up. And he's going awful slow now, so let's try to speed that up on his side as well. So you'll see that a quick block strike combo is going to force me to get my hands up to protect my face, and then he's got full access to come in under and twist, and he's going to take me down pretty hard here. Okay, you ready? I couldn't even get my foot set. He got his leg in under mine, and my foot was already up off the ground. Okay, so when you start to speed that up, you start to see the practicality of that, and it makes even more sense. So when we get past the step in and hold it here wooden dummy exercise to fit the technique, when we start to speed it up and start to become a little more realistic with it, it becomes practical, and they're no longer working with dummies who aren't fighting back. Okay, let's fold up the mat, put it to the side, and then we'll work on our calisthenics and our cool down here. You get that side, I'll get this side. Lift.
Oh, this is heavy.
Take it. Yep, this is not our lightweight mat. This is our heavy mat. All right. So as we're getting towards this cool down, remember, this is only the first half of your workout. Make sure you're going and doing that kata as well. Let's go ahead and stretch and cool down. So bring our feet in. Big inhale. Exhale out as you come down. And then inhale in. Exhale out and let yourself relax down even further. In. Out and sink all the way down into that stretch. Remember, keep those legs straight. If we're bent, we lose the benefit of the stretch on the back of the leg. Big breath in and out, coming up. Good. Feet out, big breath. In, out, coming down. Breath and out. Take your hands over to your left side. Big breath in and pull. Breathe it out.
Breathe and out. Other side. Big breath in, pull. Again, breathe. And out. Come in center, big breath. Up. Good. All right. So spread your feet out a little bit wider now. Sink your hips down. Elbows inside, pushing outward. Sumo stretch. Good. Rock your feet from one side to the other. And bend that right leg, keep it down. Get your right arm inside and push that knee out if you need it. I always find that that helps. Keep the leg straight. The base foot out there, my left foot, as flat against the floor as I can get it. And stay low, shift across, other side. And straighten both legs up, keep your body low. Nice and straight at the knees. And then walk your feet outward. Keep walking it until you've gotten all the way out as far as you can go, keeping your knees straight. Use your hands to support you if you need to. Good. And walk your hands forward. Sink your hips low in the front. Walk your hands backward. Sink your hips low in the back. Forward. And back. Good. And if you can sit from here, go ahead and let yourself down.
You did it.
I did it. And take your body over. Actually, excuse me, take your body all the way straight out in front. And to your left side, reach it with both arms out. And to the other side, both arms out. And bring those legs in. Touch your feet in together. And push your knees down. And grab those toes. Pull your nose down to your toes. And come on up. All right, so that's your class for today. Make sure you've checked out that other video and know what's going on. From here, we just want you to go check out those kata videos. They're on the website with the PDFs that you can follow along with in print. And they're also linked from there with our YouTube channel, so you can watch the videos both in slow motion and at regular speed. Pretty old videos, but they still give you the idea of what we teach and how we teach it. So go check those out. Work on the stuff that's in focus for this month. Work on the stuff that's in focus for your promotion. And then make sure you're hitting some of the other kata every time you practice, especially the ones that maybe you don't hit nearly as often, so you don't lose the technique in those. So that's it for today. Come to attention. Bow. All right. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.